Today, we are going to talk about the 5th episode in Star Wars Vision Season 2, Journey to the Darkhead. Be warned, there are spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, just go watch it and come back. Journey to the Darkhead was created by Studio Mir, a studio who's done a lot of impressive works, including the Netflix Voltron series and, of course, The Legend of Korra. Now, straight off the bat, this just screams anime. Like, obviously, if you've watched this stuff, especially Voltron and The Legend of Korra, they are definitely anime inspired. And you know what? They're a South Korean studio. Of course, their style's very much influenced by anime, and I really love that they decided to stick with it. I know Star Wars Visions Season 1 was just anime, but seeming as the rest of Vision Season 2 is done by other studios that aren't around this area, it's really nice having one to kind of anchor it between the two seasons. Now, we have this girl, Ara. She works at this record-keeping Jedi temple thing, where they don't get involved in any of the conflicts that the Jedi themselves get involved in. They're very much, I stand in the middle, we just here to record. This place gets visions on stones when it rains, and it shows these two people clashing with someone in the middle. And Ara, this little girl, she's like, I feel connected to this vision. With this conflict happening in it, that's gotta mean the Jedi and the Sith, and we gotta stop this. And this dick of a mentor says, no, we have to stay in the middle. And then she's like, well, our temple at the very top has these two giant statues, one the light head, one the dark head. We've got to cut off the dark head. You flash forward, obviously a few years later, she's a lot older. Also, she looks like Dr. Aphra, and I'm here for it. Right now, she's gone to the top of my list of favourite character designs just because she looks like Dr. Aphra. Good on her. Anyway, it's a few years later, Ara goes to the Jedi Council, asks for some help, and this Jedi Council seems very reminiscent to the prequels. To be fair, most people would only know the Jedi Council from the prequel films. And as we can also see, they're also in a time of conflict, just like in the prequels. So, seeing the similarities here, it's kind of cool. Anyway, the council says she can chop off this dark head, but she has to take a Jedi with her. And of course, they give her the most, conflicted Jedi there is. So his name is Tall, and when we meet him, he's having a flashback about his master dying by the Sith named Bishan. And let me say, Bishan has a fantastic character design. He is such a cool looking villain. He's so anime inspired. I love it. It's so dramatic. Just look at that. Anyway, this Jedi, he clearly has PTSD. Star Wars, get some fucking therapists. But yet, he's still sent away on a mission. So good for him, I guess. And when Ara and Tall meet, oh my, just their banter straight off the bat, just being very dismissive of each other. It's great. This is how all great friendships should start. That's how me and my partner met, honestly. Anyway, they go to get some supplies, and Tall has some more PTSD. But it turns out this PTSD kind of calls that Sith towards him, which is exactly what you want, Anyway, they get back to Ara's planet to chop off the dark head. And who arrives? The Sith Master Bashan, of course. Then we have this really great extended fight sequence as all of them head up to the Dark Head. You have Ara piloting this vehicle up this mountain, with Bashan and Tool fighting on the back, trading barbs and whips at each other. And something that's really cool to see is just the effect that all this trauma is having on Tool. He's clearly being conflicted, the dark side is clearly seated within him, and I really like that story, and that very much goes within the theme of the episode, as you'll see. They get to the top of the statues, and while Tool and Bishan are fighting, Ara's trying to set up all these devices to explode the dark head. But just as she's about to, the sun comes out and shows the dark side and the light side of these statues are very much intertwined. And now she doesn't know which one to blow up. Anyway, Bashan and Tool, they're still fighting, because of course they are. Bashan gets the upper hand. Tool is dangling off the edge from his scorpion chain thing. And then Ara sees this is exactly the vision she saw when she was younger. She realizes this is her moment. That vision was telling her story, so she can do something about it. So instead of blowing up the dark head, she uses the explosives to distract Bashan, and Tool uses this distraction to cut him in half. Because he did that, he falls off the bloody edge. Ara, being the prepared girl she is, she jumps off the edge, grabs him, and saves him with the parachute. Anyway, they land on the ground, and Tool, he's been very conflicted. After having defeated his archenemy, is very poetic and full of wisdom. And he just literally spouts off the themes of the episode. That nothing is set in stone. Wink, wink. The dark and light side coexist within all of us. Wink, wink. Like, it's a bit on the nose, but I kind of love it. They walk off from the temple, bantering with each other. Clearly meant to be like, oh yes, join us next time for the next adventure. But they're probably not going to do a next one. But still, just ending it like an actual episode of an anime. Now, I know we touched on this before, but I just adore the anime look of this. Just the background art itself is so impressive. You can tell these are illustrated, but you can just tell that so much love and effort went into these backgrounds. And I know I went on about this in Screech's Reach and in The Sith. This anime aesthetic just works so well with Star Wars. And so does Bishan the Sith. He's just so overly dramatic. Everything about him, how he's animated, his design, the voice acting as well. Oh, just, it's so good. Whoever did Tall's English voice acting, they just hammed it up so much. It just seems like, oh yeah, just pretend you're like in a 90s or early 2000s anime. That's how we want you to voice act. And I find it really charming. I think the thing that I love most about this is Ara and Tall's relationship. We don't get a ton of it, but whenever they are together, you do have this banter between them that is really natural. Even though they've been together a short time, they really play off each other really well. And I really like their stories as well, you know, with Tall overcoming his trauma, literally fighting off the demons, and Ara realizing, hey, maybe there's a bit more to what we're just being presented at face value. Anyway, it was a pretty solid short. It wasn't my favorite, but you know, as I've said in other reviews, this season is just full of bangers that even if something is my favorite, they're all at such a high standard that it doesn't even matter anyway. Like, surely every single one of these is going to be someone's favorite. That's how good they all are. Anyway, let me know what you thought down below, and until next time, when the adventure continues.